And now on to the big story of the day. Trouble mounts for former Finance Minister P Chidambaram after the High Court refused to grant any protection from arrest in the INX Media case for him. The agencies probing the case, the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate, visited Chidambaram's South Delhi residence yesterday but left as he was not present over there. Late in the evening, the Central Bureau of Investigation put up a notice outside Chidambaram's house asking him to appear before the probe agency within 2 hours. Chidambaram's legal team is challenging the High Court order in the Supreme Court and they are expected to request for an early hearing today. The High Court has labelled the politician as the kingpin and key conspirator in the alleged INX Media financial scam. Meanwhile, the Congress party has come out in support of their leader. Party spokesperson Randeep Surjewala slammed the Modi government and called it the worst kind of political vendetta.
High drama in the national capital. CBI and Enforcement Directorate teams reached Congress leader P Chidambaram's house separately in the evening, leading to speculation that his arrest is imminent. The former finance minister was away when the investigating agencies came knocking. The action by CBI and ED came just a couple of hours after the Delhi High Court rejected his anticipatory bail plea in the INX Media case. The court said Chidambaram appeared to be the kingpin of the scam and economic offenders needed to be dealt with an iron fist. Chidambaram's battery of lawyers soon approached the Supreme Court, but suffered a setback there as well, as the top court asked them to wait till Wednesday.
We have come to court, we requested the Chief Justice. He said, you please move the senior most judge tomorrow morning.
Chidambaram is accused of clearing a INX Media foreign investment proposal at his son Karti Chidambaram's behest. INX Media owners Peter and Indrani Mukherjee allegedly paid off Karti's firm in return. Now with Indrani Mukherjee turning a prover in the INX Media case and naming Karti, the heat is truly on Chidambaram. With Anisha Mathur and Munish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
My colleagues Munish Pandey and Abhishek Anand are joining me live on the broadcast to get us all the updates that are to do with this particular case that is hounding the former Finance Minister P Chidambaram. Munish, I'll come to you first. Both the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI came knocking on Chidambaram's door yesterday. In fact, the CBI came again and slapped that notice on his at his house to appear before the CBI within 2 hours. But Chidambaram, I believe, is still incommunicado.
Yeah, well, it was cat and mouse the entire night if we talk about P Chidambaram and CBI and ED. Because remember, around 4 o'clock, the order came from the Delhi High Court. Around 6:45, a team of CBI reached to arrest Mr. P Chidambaram at his Jorbagh residence. And within half an hour, again, a team of ED reached. But both the teams left without arresting P Chidambaram because he was untraceable at that point of time. Then around 11:30 in the night, a team of CBI again reached his residence. They slapped a notice on his residence wall and he was directed by the IO, investigative officer of the INX Media case, to appear before them within 2 hours. But P Chidambaram was aware that if he appears before CBI or ED, he will be arrested. And once he is arrested, then there is no chance that he will get anticipatory bail or pre-arrest bail. And that is why it was best for him to avoid CBI and ED. But the agency was also aware that his application for interim relief may come before the Supreme Court. And that is why they slapped the notice. They have also served a copy to the family members so that before the Supreme Court, they can say that even after rejection of his anticipatory bail, he was not available, he was not cooperating in the investigation, so he should not be provided any interim relief. So again, we have to wait and watch that what exactly happens before the Supreme Court. But the drama is getting more interesting as far as P Chidambaram and both the agencies are concerned.
Oh, absolutely, Manish. In fact, Abhishek, I'll take that to you now. What really happens? Like Manish was mentioning, the CBI and the ED can mention these things in their report. Considering Chidambaram has not been granted that immunity from arrest and he's still missing, what happens in the Supreme Court today? The High Court rejected the protection from arrest plea that was actually filed in the court.
Well, Greha, I'm standing right in front of Mr. Chidambaram's house, and this is the notice which CBI put right on 11:18 p.m. last night. And this notice says Mr. Chidambaram has to present in front of the investigating officer within 2 hours. The tenure of this notice has collapsed at around 1:30 a.m. So it doesn't matter whether this notice still the CBI is going to investigate or trying to search Mr. Chidambaram through this notice, but the kind of answers, the kind of objections Mr. Chidambaram's legal team is putting up through social media is that he still has a chance, he still can approach the Supreme Court, and this notice is a violation of the laws. Over to you, Reha.
Also, Munish, how bad does it get for P Chidambaram considering he is incommunicado despite that notice that Abhishek was showing outside Chidambaram's residence that has been slapped by the CBI? How bad does it get from here on? Because the CBI gave him 2 hours to appear before the agency, but he still hasn't.
Scenario was that P Chidambaram could have been arrested by the agencies. This notice or any argument by the CBI or ED before the Supreme Court that he was not cooperating with the investigation, that can be argued before the Supreme Court. But if he can avoid arrest till the time the appeal is not heard before the Supreme Court, then this is the best for Mr. P Chidambaram, because remember, if he is arrested, then immediately he will be produced before the designated court, and once he is produced before the designated court, he will be remanded into police custody, and then there can't be any hearing regarding pre-arrest bail. Now, once his appeal is admitted before the Supreme Court, then it can be argued by the Central Bureau of Investigation that he was not cooperative, he was nowhere to be found. But remember, this can be argued on behalf of P Chidambaram that what was the desperation to arrest him. He is not a flight risk. He is not a person who is going absconding. He has till date appeared during all the summons. He has respected all the summons of CBI and ED. So what was the desperation? So it is going to be a bit technical for the CBI and the ED and also for P Chidambaram. But P Chidambaram knows that avoiding CBI and ED at this point of time was best for him, and that is why he has gone somewhere where CBI and ED can't find, and officially they are still on lookout for Mr. P Chidambaram, because ED and CBI also knows that for more than 1 year they waited for his anticipatory bail to be cancelled, and once again, if he gets relief from Supreme Court, then it is going to be very difficult for them to complete the investigation.
Right. So let's actually look at what really will happen if in fact the Enforcement Directorate manages to arrest P Chidambaram. Now first they will record his statement, and Chidambaram's statement then will be counted as evidence. The Enforcement Directorate then can use this evidence, and P Chidambaram won't be able to get that anticipatory bail, and the money laundering trial will continue under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So this is what will happen in case that arrest is actually made. But Abhishek, why, on what grounds has that bail, has that plea being rejected by the High Court? And now that now Chidambaram's battery of lawyers have had to approach the Supreme Court, but even the Supreme Court denied an urgent hearing yesterday.
Well, Greha, if the Supreme Court denies any relief for Chidambaram, then there will be trouble. As far as the CBI and ED is concerned, they are they have shown that what they are willing to do. This notice is a clear proof that CBI and ED, both the investigative agencies, want Chidambaram arrested, want Chidambaram to investigate, and they will use his statement as proof in the court. Now, if he gets arrested before, if Supreme Court denies if Supreme Court denies bail, and if he gets arrested before moving to Supreme Court, two things will happen, Greha. Either he will be provided police custody, he will be in the custody of ED or CBI, or he will be granted 14-day judicial custody. So if he gets arrested, if the cops are able to catch him, he will be spending minimum 3 days or maximum 14 days in the jail before the next hearing. Over to you, Reha.
And Munish, the fact that Congress, of course, is crying political vendetta, and this is clearly on the grounds that P Chidambaram has not been granted that prevention from arrest and his plea was rejected. On what grounds really did the court go ahead and do that? Because this is not, a premise that the court has actually gone ahead and said in the past, because a bail plea has been granted.
Yeah, well, Griha, remember in this case, from more than 1 year, Mr. P Chidambaram was getting interim protection, not only from High Court, but also from the lower court. The grounds are on which the Delhi High Court decided to cancel his anticipatory bail was that he was non-cooperative. He is kingpin. These are the very strong words. He was the kingpin, and he was controlling the entire corruption case involved in the INX Media deal. So the Delhi High Court in the order also mentioned that the hands of investigative agencies cannot be tied. He is a senior leader, he is a senior lawyer, but in this way we cannot hamper the investigation. That is why it is very necessary that this case should be dealt with iron hand, and that is why his anticipatory bail has to be rejected. Now, it was very clear by the Delhi High Court that you have been granted relief for a long time. It is time you face the investigators, and whatever is there, once you have faced the investigators, let them file the charge sheet, and then the matter should go before the trial. But the last legal recourse which Mr. P Chidambaram has is the Supreme Court, and that is why immediately after the rejection of his bail, he approached the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court denied any urgent hearing. He knew that next 12 hours are going to be very difficult for him, and since then he left Supreme Court from the back gate, whereas other lawyers and Congress leaders left from the front gate. And once he left from the back gate, Mr. P Chidambaram was nowhere to be found. The CBI team, the ED team, they searched him at multiple locations. They tried his phone. They tried to communicate through their family members, but Chidambaram was nowhere to be found. And still it is cat and mouse. What we believe that even at this point of time, a team of ED and CBI is still looking for Mr. P Chidambaram, but
Right.
I think around 10:30 the matter will come before the Supreme Court, and they will again try for urgent hearing to get some relief for Mr. P Chidambaram.
Right, Munish and Abhishek, thank you so much. So the former finance minister P Chidambaram facing charges on financial irregularities in the alleged INX Media case. Moving on, the Delhi High Court has rejected a bail plea by Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Kamal Nath's nephew Ratul Puri in the Augusta Western case. Ratul Puri was arrested in a bank fraud case on Monday, and he has now been sent to a 6-day Enforcement Directorate custody. Here's the full story.
MP CM Kamal Nath's nephew Ratul Puri behind bars, facing heat in a Rs 350 crore banking fraud case by family-owned Moser Bear.
So what happened yesterday and you...
His arrest by ED comes 2 days after the CBI lodged a case and conducted raids over complaint by Union Bank of India. Puri, also an accused in VVIP chopper scam case, had Delhi High Court protection from arrest. That, however, could not prevent his arrest in the bank fraud case.
Ratul Puri appeared before the agency on Monday evening, but within 1.5 hours, Enforcement Directorate decided to arrest him in connection to the 354 crore bank fraud case. Ratul Puri maintains that he is being targeted only because he is relative of Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Kamal Nath.
MP CM Kamal Nath denied any business links to his nephew and called the arrest a political witch hunt.
To start off with, I have no connection with the business they are doing. I am neither a shareholder, neither a director, neither a being-man. But to me, it appears to be a purely malified action. And I believe, I have full faith that the courts will take a corrective stand in this.
The BJP has, however, dismissed the political vendetta charge.
कोई सेक्टर छोड़ा है उन्होंने. पहले लोग कहते थे कि हवाओं की तरंग में स्कैम हो गया, ज़मीन के नीचे कोल में हो गया, ज़मीन पे कॉमनवेल्थ गेम में हो गया. अब पता लगा कि जहाज़ में भी हो गया, हेलीकॉप्टर में भी हो गया. कोई जगह छोड़ी है कांग्रेस ने.
Digital storage device maker Moser Baer, from where Puri had quit as executive director, called the charges of loan fraud motivated. The arrest has drawn fresh battle lines between the government and the opposition. With Munish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
Moving on now, after being snubbed by the United Nations, Pakistan is set to take the Kashmir dispute with India to the International Court of Justice. Sources have told India Today that Pakistan government has started preparing for the Human Rights Commission, and that meeting will be taking place in Geneva next month. Pakistan has also established contacts with international lawyers to formulate the case to be presented at the International Court of Justice. However, Pakistan is isolated at the global stage, and countries like Russia, UAE, Maldives have all backed India after it scrapped Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, saying that it is India's internal matter. The national capital remains on high alert as Yamuna River continues to swell due to additional water released from an upstream barrage. At 6 a.m. in the morning, Yamuna's water level was at 6.6 meters, which is much above the danger mark. The water level is expected to rise above 207 meters today. More than 10,000 people living in low-lying areas along the Yamuna in the city were evacuated by government agencies yesterday. And authorities have also shut the old Iron Yamuna Bridge for vehicular traffic, while train movement on Yamuna Bridge has also been suspended. Along with camps, the government promised setting off mobile toilet vans, water tankers, food and a civil defense volunteer team as well.